Hi everyone, welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. Today's story is all about Mother Angelica. Mother Angelica's TV shows were highly entertaining when she was alive. We're going to read a little bit about her. One of my joys every day back in the 1990s was watching Mother Angelica. She was a very bitter, cynical, unhappy nun. So we're going to be reading about her. Another thing I want to say is that in today's transcripts, you'll also see Spanish coming in. And that's because I'm introducing Spanish on a separate YouTube channel. So if you want to follow me, or if you are Spanish and you're interested in Spanish and English, I'm doing a YouTube channel with both languages. Let me just take a moment to explain that. En el futuro hay un canal en YouTube para las personas españolas en inglés y español, porque tengo que renovar mi español. Es muy importante practicar con otras personas, practicar con mi voz. Entonces hay un canal en YouTube para aprender más con las palabras aquí en mi página web en YouTube también. Okay, so if you want to follow me on YouTube, go to my website and you'll see a menu there called Saludos Amigos, and you can follow my Spanish and English broadcasts, video clips there as well. It's going to be for people who are learning English from the Spanish world, and also for me to speak in Spanish so you can hear more about the English world. So plenty of English and Spanish on that new channel. And in today's transcript, you'll see the Spanish transcript beneath the English one. That would be very good. New languages coming because, I'm currently exploring the Spanish world, Dutch as well, another language from my past, and so forth. Gaelic, I'm doing at university. Farsi is in my orbit as well. So lots of things happening. I never really thought of myself as a polyglot, but it seems I might be. Scary, isn't it? Anyway, let's begin with today's story, which is all about Mother Angelica. So let me just read. Mother Angelica was not your typical sweet, smiling nun. She didn't play the guitar, she didn't talk softly, and if you crossed her, she wouldn't pray for you. She'd probably roast you live on television. She was born as Rita Rizzo in Ohio in 1923 in a family that barely functioned. Her father left, her mother was nervous all the time, and Rita had constant stomach problems that made her feel like she was dying most days of the week. She tried doctors, nothing worked. Then someone told her how to pray. She did, and strangely the pain stopped, so she became a nun, as one does. She joined a convent where she didn't fit in at all. She couldn't sew, she didn't like other people telling her what to do, and she had a face that looked permanently unimpressed. But despite all that, she stayed. Years later, she decided to start her own convent because clearly other convents weren't doing it right. She moved to Alabama, where hardly anyone was Catholic, and set up a small community in a garage. To survive, the nuns sold fishing lures by hand. Yes, nuns selling fishing equipment. The plan made no sense, but it worked. Then came the moment that changed everything. Mother Angelica visited a Baptist TV studio and thought, if these guys can do this with no sense of humor and too much hairspray, then so can I. She went home and started EWTN, a Catholic TV station, from a garage. She had no budget, no media training, and no support from the church. But she had something better: rage, sarcasm, and an incredible ability to ignore criticism. Her show, Mother Angelica Live, became popular fast. People loved her brutal honesty. She didn't care about politics or pleasing bishops. She spoke directly to normal people, the kind of people who didn't understand Latin or care about Vatican fashion. She called out bad sermons. She laughed at modern spiritual trends. She once told a caller, if you want someone to tell you everything's okay, go and watch Oprah. She drank Malox, a stomach medicine, on air. She insulted modern art, soft bishops, and pretty much anyone who annoyed her. She said saints were probably just people who kept going because they didn't have time to be depressed. She wasn't polished, and that's exactly why people trusted her. But the Catholic Church hierarchy did not love her. They hated her independence, they hated her jokes, and they really, really hated that she was more popular than most bishops. At one point, church officials tried to take control of her network. They wanted it to be more professional, which really meant more boring and easier to control. She refused. She publicly called one bishop a disaster. She accused the church of spreading confusion, and when they pushed harder, she went live on air, looked directly into the camera, and said, they'll take this network from my cold, dead hands. To stop them, she secretly rewrote the rules of her organization so that no bishop could ever take over. In other words, she beat them at their own legal game while wearing a habit and holding a rosary. Eventually, the Vatican gave up. They realized she wasn't going away. Behind the scenes, she ran the network like a general. She approved scripts, cancelled shows, and once fired a priest on live TV. She told one of her staff, God gave you a brain. Use it, or I'll use it for you. In 2001, she had a stroke and couldn't speak anymore, but she kept working, using her facial expressions and hand gestures to run the monastery. People said she could fire someone just by raising one eyebrow. She died in 2016, on Easter Sunday, of course, the most dramatic nun in history, left on the most dramatic day in the calendar, classic Angelica. What did she leave behind? A global TV network watched in over 140 countries, dozens of books, shows, and video clips, some of them still going viral, and a reputation as the nun who told the bishops to sit down and behave. She proved that faith didn't need to be polite or quiet or controlled by a committee of elderly men in silk robes. Mother Angelica was a tiny woman with a sharp tongue, a lot of nerve, and zero patience for nonsense. And somehow she built a global empire, one sarcastic speech at a time.